So Dave, my Kerry cousin,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us once more at Another Love Story. Is it nice to be back playing live music to an audience?
It really is, yeah. Like, I mean, it's obviously not the same as, having everyone back in full swing, but just, I mean, to be, like driving in here today, even just seeing a few familiar faces and, like I've done a few shows now. The streaming thing was just, it was tough going for everyone involved. So, like, I think even just having 20, 30 people makes such a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, just the whole streaming thing, just getting into the spirit of it, kind of. I even did one where I had to pre-record it, and I had to pre-record the chat as well. So it was just so, how's everyone doing out there? It's just you're talking to your iPhone.
That might have been the ALS one. Great. And how was? I suppose the big loaded question is: it's been such a strange and weird 2 years. It feels for me like we blinked from our last lives, and then suddenly we're back here. How has it been?
It's been strange but positive too. I mean, there's lots of stuff to contend with on personal and professional sides, but I kind of ended up in Kerry like yourself. I've been there since last September, nearly a year now, so a lot of goods come from that, like work-wise. It's been very productive, just slowing right down. It's like, obviously it's just not as kind of, the same financial pressure that you would have living in Dublin. So it's been a lot of positives. I'm definitely ready to get back now. Definitely ready to pick up somewhere close to where we left off.
This is just a little taster of back to normal life. It's been really nice.
Yeah.
And musically, you've like charged ahead. You just did a little set for Sans Bleu, if I pronounced that correct, in a bad French accent. Yeah. And will you tell us a little bit about that project?
Well, it's got 20 monthly listeners on Spotify, so you clearly didn't book me for my stats, which is credit to you.
We value small here in Another Love Story. We don't like to go big.
So I mean, it was kind of one of those things that surprised me. I kind of knew, like, I had an idea when I was in CCI in Paris to kind of document sonic explorations and just kind of get away from kind of typical structures that I'd use in, say, like David Kitt stuff or New Jackson, or and just be kind of try. I suppose the one pretentious way to say it is like painting with sound or something like that. Just kind of record my explorations, and within it, I started to see that I was actually, even the set I did today. I think within the Sans Bleu stuff, there's some of them. There's kind of more personal stuff coming out that actually you can't express with words, or I can't kind of express with my the other stuff I do. So in that way, it's actually turned out to be a really personal project. I think what happened in Paris was I started to see, within the explorations, I started to pick up on something that I was expressing something within it that was, just a closer mirror, to what I was feeling maybe. And then when Catherine Sakura, I felt like it needed another voice, So Catherine Sakura arrived and was pretty much the first person I'd had meaningful human contact with for about 4 months or something. So, and it happened to be her first studio session, first time playing with anyone else. So, she still talks about it. I still get messages going, that was such a great session. Like, I can't believe the amount of stuff we got done, and it was really inspiring for both of us. And the results, like Revelev, I think was the one that most people picked up on from the record. And I think between yourself and Donald Deneen and Keena Crewan playing it on his show, just kind of, it was enough to feel like that people I respected really got into it. And then getting the offer to do the show here, I've been thinking about the gig for since you asked me to do it, but none of that music that I played today really existed before about 4 days ago. So I just spent the last 4 days kind of
an exclusive
printing.
Yeah, it's great. Like, it's a really nice. It feels like a very warm palette to give an expression towards. And something a few people said when we were watching the show was like, basically all your various styles and monikers and projects, like, where do you store it all, and how does it all make sense in your head? How do you divide the various projects up? Because I know you've had 20 years of David Kitt this year, you've had Sans Bleu, and you're still doing New Jackson stuff. I can't for the life of me figure out how you manage to switch your brain into the reservoir of each of those projects so fluidly. I think
what happens is it happens at the start of the project, kind of, so it's like the project itself. I think, like David Lynch talks a lot about ideas, like when you're just constantly throwing the rod into the river, as we perfectly placed, but looking for a bite.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a bite, and like I remember the moment New Jackson, just like the idea of New Jackson crystallized in my head, and I went, oh my god, that's a whole, like I could make 10 albums of that thing. I understand what it is. Similar Gary's with Garrett's.
Yeah.
I think when we came up with the name Gary's, because it's a drug reference obviously, and an ecstasy reference, and that meant that it had to have some connection to drugs in a way, or specifically our connection through the music we would associate with that experience or something. And similarly with Sambu, it was kind of like I said, it just came out of nothing, and then it was just crystallized as a world, I suppose. And doing this gig probably crystallized it, because I think without having Catherine on saxophone, I was like, okay, how do I do this? But now I feel like after doing that today, I was like, this is it. Like, it's like I just kind of pre-recorded Niagara kind of stuff with dubbed effects. And it's great. And you just kind of plug in everything, and things happen that I don't expect or whatever. It's kind of, so yeah, it's once they're, I mean, I'm doing 4 completely different gigs this weekend, you know what I mean? And that is a little bit brain frying, but once the shows are all up and running and you have them, it's actually really nice having the variety. Yeah. And I can fit all 4 of them into the my Toyota Corolla, so it's like
exported from Kerry direct across the country. Great. Well, folks, that's David Kitt at Another Love Story once more. It's amazing to have him back. Cheers, Dave.
Thanks. Cheers.
But we're not allowed to do that.
I'm not allowed to do that. Hey, well, cut.